Hello, everyone, and welcome. From the good to the bad, we are going to be covering all the details about what you need to know and what you can expect in the 2024 firework industry. To kickstart this live, we're first going to have everyone go around and state their name and position at NCI.
Hi, I'm Stephen Irvin, the Director of Operation here at North Central.
Hello, I'm Richard Shields, the President.
Hello, I'm Jeff Brandenburg, the Vice President of Sales.
Hi, I'm AJ Burns, the Area Sales Manager.
Hi, I'm Kurt Calgill, the Vice President.
Awesome. First question, we're going to start off with the inventory. What does inventory look like for 2024 for the wholesale customer?
Yeah, well, I think that inventory is, pretty well in stock for 2024. There's some limited quantities of things that, are hard to get, but that's the case every year. I think that, everybody should remember, though, how fast that inventory can go. So, while we've got a lot of stock now and we've got a lot of variety, we know that at least down south, there was a really good retail New Year's season. So we've actually seen a lot of merchandise being restocked and going out the door quickly here at the beginning of the year.
Awesome. Next, we're going to be talking about the issues. Are there any issues to be aware of that could impact the production of this year?
Well, I think what people need to understand about China from last year to this season, the domestic production in China was something that we hadn't really seen as an issue. But last year was an astoundingly good season for their domestic production. Matter of fact, we were told by the factories it was the best season they had ever had, and that quite a few of the manufacturers switched to doing just domestic product. And that meant it eliminated all the CIQ testing, export documents, everything else that goes along with the export program, and consequently, the jury's out as to how much effect that will have in the spring production, because actually the Chinese New Year season is not over for them, but we're cautiously optimistic that they can catch up some of that business, but we really won't know that for several more months.
Yeah, to expand on that a little bit, the 95% of all fireworks come from China, and the factories in Luoyang have historically had three markets: the European market, the U.S. market, and the domestic market. And as the U.S. market and the European markets fluctuates, we kind of compete back and forth for production space. So that's been going on forever. The domestic market, the fireworks that stay in China, has really been pretty steady over the years. And so this is really the first time that is entered in to be major competition for production in these factories. And the unfortunate thing is, as Richard was saying, it's very lucrative for the factories to produce domestically. There's a lot of things they don't have to deal with to ship it inside of China as opposed to exporting it. Kurt and I went to China in the fall, and we did see some positives from the domestic market. That's not really something that we expected to see, but when we were there, around our hotel, every store was a domestic fireworks store. We walked around and were able to go in, 10 or 12 of them. And one thing that was surprising is they're flourishing with Roman candles, barrage candles, fountains, novelties, sparklers, which are a lot of the categories that we've really struggled to get in the U.S. over the past several years. And so that was encouraging to see. And as we dug deeper, there's more innovation in those categories than there has been in years. We've struggled to get new novelties out of China. Even when there are new novelties developed, the factories are slow to make them. They're late to the season. So those are things that just really haven't had a lot of new items over the years. So it's great to see new items being introduced in those categories. And then the next thing is the production. The domestic market receives orders of 10,000 to 100,000 cases, which is so much higher than orders from the U.S. The average wholesale company in the U.S. orders between 300 and 1,000 cases of each item. So for them to be getting orders on that scale, it's allowed them to come up with new processes, to create new machines, and to make it easier and faster and cheaper. So although we may struggle to get that production this year, the end of this year and moving forward, it should be a positive change in those hard to get categories, should drive the price down and increase availability of new items. So the last thing I'll touch on is the domestic market is positive for the factories. We don't like to see the priority shift away from the U.S. market, but the U.S. orders were down this year. There's still a lot of stock in the United States. And so without those increased domestic orders, the factories would have struggled. There's not a lot of canister shell orders going on. And so there's a lot of canister shell factories that shut down production. And so the booming consumer market really increased the income and ability for those factories to continue to produce, maybe not what they were making before, but still able to grow and expand. And it's important as a whole. We like to focus on our customers like to focus on their retail stores. We like to focus on wholesale, but it's good for the industry as a whole to stay healthy. And so that domestic market has really, helped out the factories in China and the trading companies to stay healthy and continue to grow.
Yeah, so it kind of keeps it more stable, right?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and Stephen, I kind of had a question. There's been a lot of discussion in the industry about the producing fireworks outside of China. Is NCI doing anything to diversify the supply chain?
Yeah, we've been down to Brazil to explore the fireworks market in Brazil. We first visited down there about a year and a half ago, and Brazil is a fairly large producer of fireworks, considering that they export almost nothing to the United States. We were surprised to be down there and see 30, 40, 50 factories producing cakes, producing shells, producing for the domestic market, but the products that they're producing is not far off of what the U.S. Needs and uses. So we've been working with the factories down there for a year and a half. We were able to import one container from them. It was not the price and shipping that we had hoped, but we're continuing to work on that and to see the potential down there. It's not a short-term solution, but we are optimistic that it could be a long-term solution. The other thing that's been going on for quite some time, and I think most people are aware of it, but Pyro Planet's factory in Cambodia. Kurt and I were able to visit there on the end of our trip to China. And what Rod Cameron and Pyro Planet's been able to create down there is really remarkable. To take a country that's never produced fireworks before and to build what he has built is really remarkable. So we got a container of Cambodian fireworks in, Kurt, was that 2001 or 2002 or 21 or 22?
2021.
2021. So, we haven't been able to, there's been shipping issues. And so we've struggled to get anything since then, but we will have, I believe 4 or 5 new Pyro Planet items this year that are produced and shipped from Cambodia. And then we will also be restocking some customer favorite Pyro Planet items that will also be coming out of Cambodia. So we're excited to see that continue to grow and continue to enter the supply chain. I think that they're shipping quite a bit to the U.S. now, and that's just a great another option. It's still a drop in the bucket for China, and we still have to continue to look to other countries, but it's a great step in the right direction.
Nice. So I know July 4th is on a Thursday this year, so how will that affect you? AJ, do you want to touch on this?
Sure. Yeah. July 4th, falling on a Thursday for us, it's good because we leap year the Wednesday holiday this year, which is historically the worst day that it can fall. So the fact that it's getting back into a Thursday, which lends more towards a longer weekend, a longer celebratory weekend, with cookouts, pool parties, things like that, people are able to extend that, take the Friday off, and have a 4-day weekend. That typically leads towards better sales, especially with the New Year's season in 2023 being as strong as it was. That's very encouraging for us going forward, getting into that Thursday holiday. And in addition to that, the 2025 holiday is on a Friday, which is great. And then a lot of people don't know this yet. Some of our customers have brought it to our attention, but still very unaware of it overall, is 2026 is going to be the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And that falls on a Saturday, which will be phenomenal for sales. I would just have to believe that fireworks celebrations are going to be off the charts. As I alluded to in my newsletter article coming out soon, that if there's any period of time, a 3-day stretch that might even touch the pandemic years, these are probably it, with the 250th anniversary coming up. And like I said, a long holiday weekend coming up for us this year.
So what would be, so let me ask you this, for your customers that are putting in their orders, what advice do you have for them, coming from this past year was a Tuesday, right? So
Yep.
it being now closer to the weekend, maybe bigger, what advice do you have for your customers ahead of this year?
From a wholesale perspective, we've seen that sales have kind of plateaued. I know we hit record highs a couple years ago, and they've started to fall off a little bit from that, but I think that they've leveled out at this point. So going forward, people's wholesale orders should continue to increase from here. As Kurt mentioned, we have tons of inventory in stock right now. Doesn't mean that we have everything. So my advice to my customers has been, don't wait. If you have favorites that you rely on every year, or that you need to have in stock in order to conduct your business, that now is a good time to get them. I don't think we foresee major changes in wholesale pricing this year. We'll get to that as our new items start to arrive. I think Kurt can touch a little bit more on freight, has kind of stayed constant as well, but you never know. There's always what I like to call the China factor. I've only been in it for 7 years, but every year something pops up that tends to be an obstacle for our domestic market here. So buying
Kurt,
products early and
on
often.
that?
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, Kurt, do you want to expand a little bit on that at all, or?
Yeah, I would just, say to that, he's right on the money. The freight has came down, but at the same time, the price of the product itself has gone up, and it's been harder to get. Just because we have a lot of stock now, everything that Stephen talked about earlier about the domestic market, it is definitely slowing down imports of consumer fireworks coming into the U.S. So, as far as a customer perspective goes, I've got several customers that are kind of beginning to preload their inventory for 2026, that 250th anniversary that AJ's talked about, and hats off to them. I think that customers can't take for granted, the being proactive about their orders. They've kind of been forced to be proactive about orders over the last 3 years to make sure that they have stock. And, you can't take that for granted now just because the wholesalers are back in a good inventory position. Ordering early helps us to help you in a way. So I would definitely recommend continuing down that path.
Awesome. Next, we're going to talk about the demos. Are there any demos coming up that we have in the foreseeable future in 2024?
Absolutely. We have our first annual demo will be Saturday, March 9th, down for the southern U.S. region at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll likely hold an open house at our Forest Park, Georgia warehouse and offices, and then move on down to the track, and the event will take place there. Again, Saturday, March 9th in Georgia, Atlanta Motor Speedway. At that event, folks can come down, enjoy a nice catered dinner, see some products displayed, play some games, interact with NCI personnel, get a lot of questions answered about the upcoming season and our new products. Around all of that, we offer pace car rides. They can come, and if they wish, they can sign up and ride around the track, and speeds going up to 100 miles an hour. It's exhilarating, and everybody that does it comes back to do that again. That's kind of a fan favorite at that event. We then will move out into the middle of the track, and it creates a nice atmosphere to light off all of our products. Well, I say all, but it's several of our items within most of the categories we offer. And we'll put in a lot of new items in there. You can see we'll end the night starting into a finale with our consumer 1.4 products. And then we have a 1.3 display finale at the end that everybody just loves. And we are doing that again. So for that event, it's Saturday, March 9th, Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I would say the reason we're doing that earlier than we ever have is because, as it was mentioned earlier, we have an influx of inventory right now, and we have some of our new items we normally don't get till later in the summer, earlier in the summer. So we have those to showcase, so we're going to do it earlier, and we've always had a lot of comments they'd like to see an earlier demo. Now, in May, Saturday, May 4th, we'll have our main demo in Muncie, Indiana, at our main facility there, our corporate office facility. That event again is Saturday, May 4th. We hope to see everybody there, and hopefully between one of these events you can find a convenient one to pick, and hopefully we get a catch up.
Awesome.
While we're on the topic of events and demos, AJ, I believe CobraCon's coming to Muncie again this year. I know some of our customers were able to attend that again. Do you have the dates for that, Andy?
Yeah. CobraCon again, like you said, in Muncie, the second year in a row they've had it there. It's April 11th through the 13th coming up. And last year we were excited to be a major product sponsor for that. This year we'll be heavily involved again, and again looking to host an open house at our wholesale facility there in Muncie. It's about 1.1 miles away from the convention center there, so very convenient for all the CobraCon attendees to show up and be able to purchase some of our products. We're working on a product demo as well one of the nights, so come check us out. We'll be there in grand fashion again here in Muncie, Indiana.
And AJ, for someone that's never heard of CobraCon before, can you describe a little bit about what that event is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cobra Firing Systems Company started to host a convention that is centered around their firing systems, the design software that you can build shows with. It's touted as the shooter event of the year. And why we get involved with that is that our Great Grizzly and Fire Factory catalogs are featured in Finale 3D, which a lot of people use to build shows. So backyard enthusiasts, people that really look for the best of the best in product can find our products on there as well. And we're excited to be the local partner with Cobra based out of Muncie, that we can really showcase our products, our facilities, our services to the consumer fireworks industry, and excited to have them come back.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also I kind of wanted to circle back to the Muncie demo. Just like our open house at CobraCon, if we've done anything at Indiana after, we've had a demo for, I know, over 10 years, probably going on 20 years. But if we've done anything, we've mastered how to have a good time. People enjoy coming up. We feed them a good meal. We usually try to have something extra going on between dinner and the fireworks. Rumor is this year there may be a cornhole tournament, which there may be some things at stake, but I would stay tuned for that. Overall, if the weather cooperates with us, or even if it doesn't, it ends up being a good night. We've got a great facility up here. Kind of hard to compete with NASCAR rides down at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but we're gonna keep on having this demo, and really love seeing all of our customers come. And I mean, it kind of amazes me every year how far people will travel. So, if you're on the fence about coming to an NCI demo, and if distance is the thing that's holding you back, we've had people travel from 14, 15 hours away. So don't let it stop you. Plan ahead, plan early. We've got some good hotels here in town, and we'd love to see you.
Sweet.
So,
Is there
Kurt,
anything else that you guys want to add?
yeah, Kurt, I'm glad you brought up the potential for a cornhole tournament there, because Stephen and I, we're dedicated to this. We're ready for this. We want our customers to come and take us on, and to our customer base. We haven't got the approval yet, but there may be some product credits and some shipping credits at stake. But I want you to know that Stephen and I are dedicated. Sometimes we stay up until 2, 3, maybe even 4 o'clock in the morning practicing cornhole. So bring your A games.
Is this like an every night thing, or are we taking it to that level? Or
yeah, I mean, we'll take it to that level. I mean, Stephen and I do every time we play. So we've even got the official cornhole bags from what is it, Stephen? The ACL now, the official cornhole league.
ALC.
ALC. There you go. So
I love it. Love the.
You heard it here first. AJ and Stephen are willing to trade out their paycheck for shipping credit if you need them.
Yeah.
So, kudos to you guys.
I bet you'll have a few challengers for sure. Well, I mean, we're at the 20-minute mark, so I think we've given a lot of really good information here today. I just want to make sure before we start to wrap this up, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to add before we kind of wrap things up as we look forward to the rest of 2024?
Jeff, did you want to go into any more detail on the retail trends in the southern market at New Year's and what that might point towards for the July season?
Sure. I have to admit, I'm one of the skeptics. I thought with the economy and what you're seeing after the holiday, Christmas holiday, we would see a leveling out or even a decline. Having conversations with buyers across the country in the southern region that are going to retail at New Year's, we all kind of had that same vibe, if you will, coming into the season. And I heard common conversations, if we're 5-10% down, hey, we'll take that. That's not bad. Surprisingly, I can count on one hand out of many conversations of negative, sales after New Year's. It was all positive. Hey, I was up. I was way up. I had a record season. In fact, I had a phone call this morning, a gentleman looking to put in, a big order, if you will. And he said he had his best New Year's out of 60 years in business. And he has 5 retail locations in the South. And he was pleasantly surprised, as we were. So I think we may be getting to that area where we've always said from the pandemic, how many customers did the consumer side retain out of the folks that would normally go see a display show? They couldn't, or they got together with their neighbors, and now that's tradition. I think we're starting to see some of that come to the surface, and we have retained some of that business, and that's refreshing to hear. But all positive. But going back to some of the conversations you heard here in regards to supply from China getting a little tougher with their new domestic market, I would say, we are stocked now, and the sooner you get your orders in is the only way to kind of guarantee you have that supply, because when things go quick, as it was mentioned earlier, they go real quick, and that momentum picks up. So yes, retail was up in the South. I don't know how that predicts it in the North. I would say probably something similar, but we're probably looking and skipping that Wednesday this year, going to Thursday. A lot of folks will get a paycheck early and get the big long weekend off. So I think, that's all positive news for the retail business.
That's great.
Yeah, and I want to add to that real quick too. I've had a lot of customers asking about 2024 pricing, and we typically release our new pricing in March when we have a better grasp on new items and things coming down the pipeline. We still have some fantastic sales and deals going on from our 2023 pricing. We're still honoring those prices from last year. So as I mentioned earlier, we don't expect massive changes in pricing this year. So I don't think there's any harm in jumping on the ball now to go ahead and order. And like I said, get those favorites that you want, that you need in order to operate and conduct business within your stores. The pricing is good. I even go back to Kurt sometimes and say, is this a mistake? And he said, no, that's what we're offering. So I still think there's some really great deals being offered from last year that people should capitalize on now while they have the chance.
One quick question. I know that most of your customers already know the answer to this, but maybe somebody new who's jumping on the bandwagon. When's like the latest you would want to put in an order? Like, hey, you're kind of on the fence whether you're going to sell fireworks this year. Like, when is that? You got to miss the boat time.
I'll take that. I mean, with the climate now of how fireworks are being looked at year round, it used to be such a hyper seasonal business, and it still is for the retail season. However, most wholesalers are looking at fireworks year round, and those people have started to order earlier and earlier every year, which is great. So if you're waiting until the end of March into April to start looking at fireworks, you're behind the 8 ball already. You're going to miss out on some of the best items. And again, with the supply chain and China changing, we are going to be waiting on some of our favorites. We are going to be waiting on some of the new items to come in. So if you're interested in getting something now, now's the time to grab it. Waiting until the end of March, April could be detrimental to having some of your customers' favorites in your stores. So I would say it's never too early.
So AJ, let's take that a step further. Our desks are close enough. I hear your phone calls in late May of people calling you, telling you they're thinking about selling fireworks for the first time. And you just kind of chuckle and start going through, what it takes to comply on a state level and a local level. Why don't you talk about new customers and when and where to start? We get those calls every year. If there's anybody out there listening that is thinking about selling fireworks for the first time, when do they need to start? What do they need to know to get started?
Yeah, I mean, taking a state like Indiana, which has over 900 licenses and permits within driving distance of our facility, for one, but a state like that has so many people already selling fireworks, have been doing this for years. People that call me in May and are thinking about it, they don't think about the permits, the license that they have to apply for. Trying to find a location is increasingly difficult. A lot of insurance companies owning these centers don't want to deal with fireworks anymore. So location is key, but waiting until May to finally decide to want to buy product and try to pull that off is increasingly difficult, incredibly difficult to get all that done. Happy to give you my best advice on it. And I know Jeff will do the same for the Southern market. But if you're thinking about it, now's the time to make that phone call. You call us as partners. Just on this call here, over 200 years of experience in fireworks market. So give us a call. We're happy to help out. We can point you in the right direction, tell you if you're making a good decision or a bad decision, offer our best advice on it. But yeah, people that wait until May to decide to start selling fireworks, it's a challenge. And, have additional funds set back that you didn't anticipate, because there will be costs that you didn't see coming. POS systems, renting tables and different things of that nature are things that are afterthoughts. But we're happy to help point you in the right direction if you call us.
Thanks, AJ. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for doing this today and getting everybody ready for the 2024 season. There's a lot to know. We're going to do more videos like this. So if anybody has any questions, put them in the comments below of what you would like them to talk about next time, if you have any specific questions that we didn't address today. But thank you guys again for being here. We got Richard, we got Kurt, Jeff, AJ, Steven, Valerie, and myself as well. So again, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll have more for you coming up here real soon.
Thanks.